This presentation explores the role of absence in the photographic work of Lorna Simpson, a conceptual photographer from New York City. The inspiration for this project came from Stuart Hall, who in a presentation called Representation in the Media claimed that what is not shown in images is every bit as important as what we see. What I noticed immediately about Lorna Simpson's work was that many of the photographs were of people's heads, but rarely their faces. Oftentimes it was the back of their heads, or the bodies turned backwards, or even their faces cut out of photographs of their heads. This was significant because photography historically has been used to take portraits and record people's selves and, show off and, talk about individuality. But there were no faces here. In this presentation, we'll look at 3 pieces: Screen 1, Water Bearer, and You're Fine. And discuss the role that absence plays in each piece and how that significance relates to the African diaspora. The first piece is called You're Fine. In this piece, we see a person lying on their side with their hand a little raised. The person isn't sleeping, perhaps just exhausted. The words on the left are a list of medical procedures including an electrocardiogram, an X-ray, and an unspecified abdomen procedure. The words at the top read, "You're fine," and the words at the bottom read, "You're hired." The words at the right read, "Secretarial position." This is an image of someone's process of getting a job, but what's absent from this whole procedure is an actual interview process. No one has asked the person about their education, skill set, or background in other secretarial positions. We only know that this person has gone through a barrage of physical examinations. What is also missing is a sense of excitement in receiving the position. The person's body just seems taxed. This sort of overvaluation for an unextravagant position is sometimes referred to as the black tax, which suggests that people of the African diaspora must try harder to get normal work in cultures of white supremacy. But the issue is not only that the person as a person of color is being overtaxed for a menial position. There's also a gender intersection. This hyperphysical testing would make sense for an astronaut or maybe even a construction worker, but as a female person, this character is relegated to woman's work in the service sector, where power, control, and advancement are rarely available. Now we have Water Bearer. In Water Bearer, we see another person's body facing away from us, pouring water from a pitcher and a jug in an again uninterested, exhausted manner. The arms are not thrust out to the sides energetically. The person does not seem at all happy to be serving water, and her head is cocked to the side in a way that suggests boredom. Beneath the picture says, "She saw him disappear by the river." They asked her to tell what happened, only to discount her memory. That these people could discount her memory suggests a power relationship. This, combined with the other words, it seems as though this person has witnessed an event and could be reporting to the police. The picture itself does not suggest any crime, but the absence of receptacles is what ties the two together. There are no cups, or mugs, or mouths receiving this water. It seems to be pouring out onto the ground. Had she been pouring from a bucket or a trough that fed horses or something, this wouldn't look so strange. But the jug and pitcher depicted are containers specifically for pouring things to be drunk. The absence of receptacles suggests a sort of waste. A use just for use's sake. Dispensing water just to dispense water. Now the waste of water becomes a metaphor for the waste of this person's testimony. The police don't want her information in order to solve a crime. They won't even use it. In fact, it will be used in order to make her look like a liar. In the larger context of people of the African diaspora living in a white supremacist culture, we can see this picture-word combination as a comment on police investigations on lynching and other crimes against African Americans. The next piece is called Screen 1. Screen 1 is a sort of installation that also features pictures and words. It is a dressing booth that has on its outside panels 3 images of a person sitting down with hands clasped in her lap. On the third picture, however, in place of the clasped hands, there is a boat. Beneath the pictures are the words that say, "Marie said she was from Montreal, although..." And on the other side of the dressing booth, there are no pictures, but only words that say, "She was from Haiti." This text, absent to our view, is what tells us most explicitly that the origin myth which Marie performs is different from that which she experienced. Having these words and pictures on a dressing screen is significant in that dressing screens are used to cover up one's nakedness, allowing only for the performed, culturally signified, made-up self to be seen. This resonates in a racially coded way for people of the African diaspora. When declaring that you are from a place that has been dominated by Europeans, like Montreal, may allow for more social mobility than saying you are from a place like Haiti, which has a history of confronting European domination and is therefore politically fraught. The boat acts as a metaphor for displacement. Perhaps Marie's individual displacement from Haiti to wherever she is now, but in a communal sense, it refers to the shipping of human beings from Africa into slavery. This erasure of Haiti from her origin myth is symptomatic of white supremacy. White supremacy is a notion that things associated with whiteness are good and things associated with blackness are bad and should be avoided. It can be practiced by anyone and in many different ways. It can be a children's insult, such as Black African, or a general desire to erase Africa from one's heritage and pretend as though one has simply sprung from the ground of Montreal. As mentioned earlier, Lorna Simpson's photographs are often missing faces or shot from behind. A general history of representation of the female body will tell you that often viewers and owners of images get pleasure from watching and not being watched. And so often, female models are encouraged to look demurely away from the picture producer's eye.
This is what makes pictures like Odalisque and Olympia so groundbreaking.
The characters don't look away demurely and don't gaze directly toward the camera. They look directly away from it, refusing to recognize us as gazers and consumers. This refusal to acknowledge the image apparatus is akin to bell Hooks' oppositional gaze. Understanding media as an ideologic tool, many people of African descent often are already skeptical of mass media and are less likely to identify completely with the film's discourse. That in some of these images the subjects refuse to gaze is a step beyond that oppositional gaze. It's giving it a cold shoulder.